you were saying wait because I was putting up a finger while I drank my
Hold
Kool-Aid.
on. There's someone knocking at my door. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
I thought it was
no,
Lucas, and you're like, go away.
I wouldn't talk. I would
I was
not.
like, whoa.
I wouldn't talk to Luke. I would not talk to. Who? Excuse me. I would not talk to my son like that. I would have told
That's
him
what
to
I
go the.
figured.
No, I'm joking. Anyways, let's do this, Nick.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mayhem.
Woo! Craziness with the guy that's crazy.
Yeah, for real this week. This week we're of course doing Moon Knight, episode 3, the friendly type. But before we do that, I got Kyle here with me, and we are brought to you by Grow Generation, where the bros
Yay.
grow. I can't speak today. Grow Generation,
Today?
where the pros go to grow.
That's like me saying I'm having a tough time speaking today. Nah. Anyways. Check out the website LRM Online, lrmonline.com every day for all your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. Be sure to subscribe to the Genreverse podcast channel on YouTube, or follow us on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Google, Apple, any of those things. We're here. We're there.
We're everywhere. All
Yep.
right. But what did you? Well, first of all, we have a very Indiana Jones inspired episode, and I think it seems very intentional, not just because it's set in Egypt, but and lots of craziness this week, real craziness. But let's start with you, Kyle. How did you feel now we're halfway through Moon Knight?
Feels like it's getting somewhere now. You know, they've steeped us in the world and over the first 2 episodes, and then while they're still delivering some world building and whatnot, we're really like focused on story progression now, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we're getting some more character. We're knowing more about Layla's history, and there's a mysterious third party, perhaps, controlling.
Well, there's
Steven. Or do you think it's Khonshu?
no, it's most likely Jake Lockley or Lackley. Anyways, another clue in there. Jake is, if I'm not mistaken, in the comics, Jake is the taxi driver or something like that, and you have a confidant, a go-to guy that helps him out, named Frenchie. And if you notice in the episode, he says voila. He's like, oh, that's French by the way. And his accent, Steven's accent, sounds a bit off at that moment. So I think we might be seeing Jake show up, and I might be completely off my rocker, like I was calling him Mr. Moon. It's Mr. Knight. There's a great song by a band called Isley named Mr. Moon, and I'm wondering if my brain just flipped it. But the suited up Moon Knight is Mr. Knight. So I might be a little off, but I do believe that the extra person is going to be Jake.
That's what I would assume. But this is the first. It's interesting they're pulling him out now. Since we haven't seen him in 2 episodes.
There could be more. Just saying. There's a lot of potential here, and the Jake Lockley character might he might be different than he is in the comics.
As
Steven,
yeah.
Just as Steven is. Steven Grant is like a famous movie actor, very suave guy in the
rich.
comics. So at least in
Jeff
Lemire's run.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
However we pronounce it, we still don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's potentially French. Just messing around.
So did you like the episode? How would you? What else? What other positives from this episode? And where would you kind of rank it versus the other three?
Oh,
if that's even necessary.
I'm really washed out. Sorry, because of the page I was on. I was looking up the Lockley character. Yep, best friend Frenchie Duchamp, and no, Mark was friends with Frenchie. Okay, so see, I told you my brain might be mixing some. I still think the French thing thrown in there might be like maybe an Easter egg then. But yeah, it had washed out my
your face
coloring anyway. What was your question?
What other positives? So the favorite parts of the episode, as well as
the fight. The fights are great.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoy the action set piece. The big Moon Knight battle at the towards the end of the episode. I mean, yeah, it's a quick, well put together episode. I enjoyed the world building with the gods. The whole man didn't want us around anymore. I hope they don't completely take out the fact that Khonshu's a dick. They're sitting here trying to show him, and it could be a ruse. And Khonshu does do good shit, but he's very much a ends justify the means type. So the whole humanizing, I didn't want to abandon the humans. You did. It's interesting to see them do it, but that could always go wrong and cliche. But I'm not saying that it will, and or that I don't like it. Just something to be cautious of. I need some straight up gray, and then I need some straight up like dark, evil, cold, heartless blackness of the soul. Bad guys out there every now and then. Disney and the gray doesn't have to be the gray that leans to the light. It could be like Batman's really dark gray.
Are you talking about Haro? Are they making him too good of a guy, or he's?
No, I was talking about like Khonshu. Like, I don't want him to be too sympathetic.
I agree about the fight scenes 100%. Even outside of the suit, the opening fight scene is really well choreographed on the rooftops.
Yeah, I like that one.
And that's one of the things that made me think about Indiana Jones, is because there's a whole scene where a guy is like doing tricks with a knife, like before a fight, and I'm like, it was Indy, he'd pull out a gun and shoot him. And there's all kinds of like, there is the exact point where he's like twirling the knife, and then Mark just like punches him in the face because he's not paying attention to the fight. They also make a big deal about archaeology. Obviously, that's part of the point of the show, where Layla, she's like, I just return everything, to who it belongs to. I keep a few to make a living, but
gotta pay the bills.
And we have her a little bit of her back history. She is from Egypt, or Cairo, but hasn't been there in 10 years. And we learn from Haro
in Egypt.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was gonna be more specific. The first time I said Egypt, I was using it as a city name, and I'm like, no, it's Cairo, Egypt, just like Indiana Jones. I also really liked the use of reflections. They use them even better in this episode. Like the first time Steven takes over, who we assume is Steven the first time, because he heads straight for the airport. You see him in the blade of a knife, and then he just lets those guys go, and as soon as Steven's back in control, he starts chasing them. They're like, hey, we just let you go, man, like, you just let us go, like, what the hell? And then of course we have the scene where he conks out again, and he wakes up, and he like has blood on him. So you're like, but Mark wouldn't do that. And Steven has the whole like, Mark, what did you? No, the opposite. Mark's like, Steven, what did you do? And he's like, it wasn't me. So that's where we have the third personality,
which we mentioned would be a real potential next. Last week we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I said I thought that we might still see Jake, and I think that's pretty much either that or a new third personality alternate.
I bet they use.
But I think it's gonna be
though.
Jake.
There's no reason not, even
not
though they
to.
changed the characters so much. There's no reason not to use his name from the comics. I know people are already upset about Mr. Knight being Mark.
Goofy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that
Steven.
too. I think mostly, Steven. God, there are too many names already. Just add Jake into them. I can barely pronounce it took me two episodes to pronounce the gods' names. It's Khonshu and Ahmed.
Yeah, Ahmed.
Even when I write them down, I'm like, I don't know how to say that. And even Harrow. This is the first week I remember Harrow's last name without it being written down. Yeah, and in addition to the fight choreography, the cutting was really cool, especially in the scene where, like, he punches someone and then it cuts to Layla like finishing a punch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a really cool, classy, really. Sometimes I forget it's Marvel until the Marvel Studios like logo rolls, and I'm like, it's kind of weird seeing Captain America and those guys with the Egyptian music playing, because you're like, we're in a whole new realm with like different gods than like Asgardians or other alien gods they featured
so far. So
yeah, but even they're aliens. Here they're just calling themselves gods, but assuming they might be some kind of extraterrestrial thing and who came to Earth.
I'm not assuming anything. Like, I haven't even really seen any real like tangible stuff about the MCU. For all we know, this could be it probably isn't. They'll connect it somehow or say it's Prime, but I like the idea of this kind of just happening somewhere, away from it all.
There was one Easter egg that made it clearly. She hadn't seen. I can't remember the name of the guy she used to be with, or the guy at the end, who they want to look at the sarcophagus.
What she said, something like 5 years.
Yeah, or something. And she mentions it was Madripoor was the last time they saw each other.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So that kind of
they did mention that. Yeah, that does. But if that's all they do, that's good for me.
Yeah.
It still feels very Marvel, and I like to, especially with how iffy a lot of future projects are. It's nice that this one doesn't have to lean on or into anything.
Yeah, no mention of the blip or the snap or the decimation. Like everyone's just kind of chilling. The only scene that really made me think of it is when they're changing the night sky. Everyone's like looking like it's something crazy. They're probably like, "Is this a new alien invasion?" Like, everyone see crazy shit. But if that happened in my city, I'd be like, "Oh fuck, aliens are coming! Call the Avengers." Do you want to do a word from our sponsor?
Sure, absolutely. Grow Generation person talking. Take it away.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. From propagation to harvest, they have everything you need for your special garden. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Hi, everyone. That was actually great freaking timing on my behalf. Thanks for sponsoring the episode. Hopefully it works out in editing as well as it seemed on OBS.
So on the break, Kyle and I were talking about I don't know what were we talking about. I was gonna bring it up. These episodes don't need to be that long.
Oh yeah,
of our show, because like we're not doing a lot of Easter egg type stuff or guessing, and that just instantly brought me back to the first 9 episodes of the show, which was all speculation, like WandaVision, where it's like Mephisto,
everything's connected.
Yeah.
I'm still standing by what I said, that it's wrong. One, the fact that there was nothing in No Way Home actually did upset me, and not as in I want to be right, but like I had said before, they've used so much from stories centered on that guy, written by people that wrote them, centered on that guy, that character, Mephisto, and then to not use him in some of the biggest, most important stories he's played a part in, to me is just a kind of a smack in the face of the writers of those stories. I don't like that. Yeah.
Do you think there's some, like, like they don't allow ghosts in like Chinese movies? Do you think there's some devil rule in
it's a lot
continent?
more complicated than that, but I don't think that's as big of a player as some people might think it is. I mean, look, China has a limit on Western movies, and they can override it at any time, but they legitimately can have and will again say, yes, we're gonna have this movie, and then be like, nah, it's not coming, and they don't have to pick up movies that they don't want to. There's no guarantee. You can do it all 1,000% China kosher, or whatever you want to call it, Chinese compliant, and they can still say no, and they will, just to screw with U.S. market money.
Yeah, because they're a big share, obviously, of the international market.
So that's why I'm saying it's a lot more complicated than you can't have ghosts and stuff, because Asian culture's filled with supernatural stuff that the Chinese do allow in their movies. It's a lot more nuanced than just, no supernatural or religious stuff. It depends on what supernatural, what's the context, how much, what's the story being told. So, but we're not here to talk about Mephisto. We're here to talk about Moon Knight.
If Danny was listening to this show, he'd lose his shit the minute we bring up the M name. We learn a lot more about the suit this week, I feel. And he calls it a healing suit at one point, which we've seen him kind of heal himself, like when he had like a broken jaw, it seemed at that one point in the first episode when he fell and he just kind of went and like clicked it back into. And Conchu's obviously already referenced, like, you were practically a corpse when I found you, which he probably was a corpse. Maybe he saved them at the brink of death. But I believe in the comics, Moon Knight's been resurrected several times based on some videos I've seen.
Potentially. I can't remember if he gets resurrected multiple times in a lot of stuff that I've read. Definitely, I can only recall really the one like true death that he's saved from in the deal that goes wrong. I might be wrong. I thought about digging through my closet back there. Nobody can see. I've got our cameras cropped, but over that way, my long boxes to find the books, but I got.
It's a lot of work.
I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it.
Just research them on Wikipedia or Marvelpedia or whatever the hell. So one of the things we learned about Layla is, did we already say that she hadn't been there because of her father's murder? That was that was the reason, and I believe it's implied that Mark did it.
Yeah, or at least is aware, and my guess is probably, if I had to guess, Mark and her dad had a working relationship, deals something, and the deal that goes bad, where Mark dies and meets Khonshu and all that, is probably where something happened with her dad. If I were a betting man, that's what I'll go with.
And like, I love the suit isn't even necessarily bulletproof, but it can like just toss the bullets back like the Matrix or something. Like that scene, a lot of people die in this episode.
Yeah,
whether it's a gunshot or his little moon chucks, not moon chucks, moonerangs that he just throws when they come back. Khonshu obviously makes a big sacrifice this episode. And I love that he's like, tell Mark to save me.
Free me from stone. Me from stone.
He's not like, Steven, you gotta do this. He's like, tell Mark. And there's even a great line towards the end when he summons Steven to put the pieces together. And Khonshu says, I summon a god, you summon the worm.
Yep.
Because Khonshu still does not like Steven. And for part of the episode, I was like, why do they keep shooting from such a high angle? Like like when they're in the square and stuff. But then they cut back and you see Khonshu watching them come. Like, that's kind of boring cinematography, but it's there for a reason.
Point of view shot, basically.
Otherwise, I was like, just shooting from that far away and having him walk through the square is just lazy. But, and I don't know if they shot in Egypt or Cairo or not, but it looks very authentic.
Sure.
Someone,
some of it. I don't know if they used a stagecraft machine, the volume or not, for any of Moon Knight, but like some of the background work, especially on the roof, wasn't that great.
I watched.
It looked pretty obviously that it was a artificial background.
Especially since like there weren't any stars at all until they needed the stars, even when the
camera.
Well, no,
I'm talking about the day. I know
what you're talking. We're talking about the rooftop.
Yeah, daylight. Yeah.
I did see a special. I don't think they used volume. The stagecraft thing I was just mentioning. If you haven't listened before and don't know much about filmmaking, a lot of films are using pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff. So like, it actually feels for the actors. Like, instead of adding it later in CGI, like Pedro Pascal can look out the ship's windows and see like the stars streaking by, and it's being used pretty heavily on Ant-Man and the Wasp 2. No, which has a subtitle already, Quantumania. I forgot it already has a subtitle.
Yep, it does.
And here, did you know that
it was filmed in London at parts, and there's the Pinewood has. I don't know,
but I did see
even if they didn't, the CGI regardless was kind of iffy, and Book of Boba Fett, which did use the volume, had a few times where you're like, okay, the volume has its limits, and still frame stuff. What you're doing on these rooftops appears to be it.
Well, it's interesting. I did see a bonus feature, and for some reason it was just Ethan Hawke talking about it, but it was about the sets and stuff. And yeah, it showed them building these giant insides of tombs and stuff like that. So I'm sure.
The tomb set looked great. The stuff with the gods looked great. That reminded me of like a 10 Commandments or Ben-Hur or Cleopatra type set. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, and obviously some of that CG on the edges. You can't build all of that, but yeah, the stuff they did build that I saw in the special features, like the statues and like
darkness helps
and stuff like that. Yeah, that helps a lot too.
Darkness helps.
And we even got to hear a third voice for Mark/Steven when Khonshu's talking for him. And I gotta say, Oscar Isaac is crushing all the acting.
Yeah, he's doing good, really good job. Isaac has been one of those actors that has had several roles that I haven't seen just because they're not necessarily projects that I'm interested in. But I liked him in Force Awakens, and then was like, oh man, you're like every other character that's not named Rey, and barely Kylo. You aren't getting shit from this story. So I'm happy to see him get to spread some wings in the Marvel universe way more than he got to in Star Wars, because they're stupid over there.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Unless they give us like a Finn and Poe show, I'd be all down for that. With Poe as a Jedi. No, Finn is a Jedi.
Finn.
I'm confusing the two. Lovebirds. Not really, but romance. It was really interesting when Harrow talked to Khonshu as a statue at the end, making the point that he really did enjoy carrying out justice for him, but that's also his biggest sin, which is why he's trying to atone.
Yeah. And
I read an article this week that actually it was a video of Ethan Hawke talking about, it was his idea to do the glass in the shoes. because he talked about the religions, the self-flatulation or whatever it is. I'm sort of saying the wrong word. Like you see
I know what you mean. Flatulation
that
would
sounds
be
like a fart.
farting of some sort.
But like as seen from a lot of people would have seen it in Dan Brown's movie. Can't remember the name of it.
Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, Da Vinci Code.
That series. It's self-flagellation. Flagellation.
That was close.
Flagellation.
And another cool Easter egg. I noticed another cool Easter egg from the first episode. You can scan the QR code, right, Kyle?
What QR code?
There are QR codes on the wall at the museum, like a museum would have. I just read this online.
Yeah, I would remind people that scanning QR codes immediately starts running things such as browsers, apps, downloads, all sorts of stuff, and that hackers can do a lot of funny things. And scanning QR codes on a screen, even one in Disney. I mean, look, it's a video stored on a server. They changed Mandalorian, WandaVision, and other things on a whim. But tell me about the QR code.
The first one, well, actually, it's the same one, but it's reflected. The first one brings you to Werewolf by Night, the issue where Moon Knight first appears. And here's what I'm a little worried about. If you scan the reflection of it, so it's flipped, it goes to the first appearance of Blade.
Why would that worry you?
I mentioned earlier maybe this would be the series we see him in, but I kind of like that it's being kept completely apart from anything Marvel. Because that was one of my theories early on, was like, here's a place to show a little bit more about him, since we already have an actor, but not a release date for his project. We've heard his voice once in Eternals. So it could very well be a Kang thing, where it's like, oh, they used the Kang actor because that's why they hired him so much more advanced than Ant-Man and the Wasp, because they hired him for Loki. So we'll see.
Pleasant surprise.
Yeah, and this one I'm not so sure it would be as pleasant. I don't know. It'll be fun. Marvel's good at this. It's just, as we were kind of worshiping the show for earlier, it's kind of nice to have it be almost completely separate.
Yeah. Except
for Madripoor. But even then, it's just a throwaway line.
Yeah.
Did you know the actor who played the guy that she hadn't seen in like 5 years in Madripoor, he's passed away already?
Yes, I did.
I didn't know that until someone shared the Easter egg of
accident or something like that.
I didn't remember him. I'm sure there was an article about it at the time, like future Moon Knight actor.
Last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Because at the end they say dedicated to. He's a French actor, so I probably didn't even pronounce his name if you pulled it up. But that's not really an Easter egg. That was just something I saw online. I'm like, oh, that was nice.
Collided in with another skier on the French Alps. Yep.
It happens too. Skiing accidents happen to important people too often, which means they must happen a lot to unimportant people, and it's not reported around, internationally. Like one of the Kennedys died in Aspen.
No, man. And I'll say this. It seems to happen to celebrities a lot that might be in areas that aren't as well maintained and traveled, because they're not touristy spots.
That's interesting.
I don't know where he was skiing, but I mean, you don't. If there were a dozen, even if there was like 5 people in 1 year to die on a ski resort in Colorado, like that would be all over your news, right?
Yeah, I would see that.
So it can't be that. It can't be that common. It seems common because of celebrities. You start thinking of
like
Sonny Ono and all sorts of people, but I think it's fairly rare. But if anything, that might be something, because they're trying to get away from the crowds. They're going to private areas, and while private areas get paid a lot of money to cater to the rich, will that area get as inspected by state parks as often as the one with hundreds or thousands of state resident. Well, I'm thinking of like a certain like lodge or something like that being looked at. But thousands, whatever. I don't know. But it was sad. But they carry on. Seems like the character was for this one part, and maybe that's it. So
it felt like a one episode. He even died.
Yeah.
Unless they're doing flashbacks or something.
Moon Knight like offs him as he's riding off on his horse, or it looks like he offs him with a hit from one of the thing. Yeah.
But then again, unless it's a plot point, there's no reason for him not to kill him, because he murders everyone else there. Everyone else we see drop. So, then the last thing I really want to say, we've kind of been talking about in the past. This was very much the first Mark-centric episode, with mostly Mark and very little Steven, as we expected we'd see eventually. So I thought that was pretty cool. All in all, really, really fucking weird episode. Like 20 minutes in, I was like online, because I also watched it last night. But 20 minutes in, I was like on my phone on Twitter at like 1 a.m. or whatever, or 1:20 a.m. And I was like, this I'm not gonna spoil anything, but this episode is fucking bonkers. Like,
it was a lot of fun though. It's probably my favorite episode so far for the most part. Yeah,
I would agree. Yeah, like we said, they continue to world build, just like in this is our first episode in Cairo. We learn more about their pasts, and for me, it's, and obviously they could blow it in the last 3 episodes or in the end, but so far it's my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe show, Disney Plus show.
No, I think 3 episodes in, I was having more fun with Loki overall and more invested in it. And I mean, I think I like it more than a lot of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is not saying that it was bad. Like it more than the majority of What If. And then I still like WandaVision. I really do, but on different levels than some. I'm in there with a lot of like editing and behind the camera type things that really make that show speak to me as a fan of behind the camera stuff, magic in general. So yeah, stage magic and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm like, does he talk about WandaVision magic or God's magic or stage magic? Stage magic.
Like how they included not just in the episode with the stage magic show, but the whole show's premise is stage magic. Misdirection and sleight of hand and yeah, I dug that.
Cool. Anything else to say about episode 3, the friendly type?
No, I'm good pacing, good job. We're rounding second base, heading into third. Hopefully this can take it on all the way home and wrap it up real nice for us.
So, dear listener, will Khonshu be freed? Who is the third personality? All this and more will be found out eventually on Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. Kyle, give all the facts about the podcast again.
All right, guys, check out the website lrmonline.com. Go there for news. We've got reviews, opinion pieces, everything from animation to anime, comics, movies, horror, drama, geeky stuff, traditional Martin Scorsese, rub one out material type artsy fartsy stuff. We got it all. We appreciate it all. Interviews out the rear end from our interview team on the LRM YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe there. Check out the podcasts wherever you get those from. Animeverse Reviews is doing Spy Family for spring, and that's started out really well, and we've also got the Cantina doing Star Wars news every week, and we'll be reviewing Kenobi next month when that hits, basically going into June. You guys got Marvel Multiverse Mayhem, Breaking Geek Radio, which Nick will talk about. All of those go up on the YouTube channel, along with our genre shot trailer reactions, and I might use genre shot for other things later on as well. I don't know, but trailer reactions. Go subscribe, check them out. I have fun doing them when it's not too many of them in a single day. But yeah, that's what we do here at LRM and the Genreverse. Nick, tell them about Breaking Geek Radio.
Before that, I'm gonna tell them they must watch your reaction from this week, because I thought my computer froze for 5 seconds, but Kyle froze the minute he saw the new bad guy, and he was like, "What was that?" It's so funny. Everyone should watch it. Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, is now a video podcast as well, thanks to our producer, Kyle, who has set everything up for us and even chimes in with interesting facts if you like hearing his lovely voice. So I guess with all that, this week we're doing Fantastic Beasts. Blah, blah, whatever the subtitle is.
I thought I'd switched it over to show off your fancy new video format. I didn't, but now fancy new video format's up there, so. Yeah,
awesome.
People can see it. Anyways.
So I guess with that, Excelsior.
Enough said.